You say yes because saying no feels impossible. In this series, I'm going to be breaking down how to set boundaries as a highly sensitive person. It's going to be a 5-part series. This is part 1 in the series. And in this video, I want to give you some tools that can help you to really better understand yourself and what might be getting in the way of being able to say no without turning into a guilt spiral. I want to start by just talking about why boundaries can be particularly hard if you are a highly sensitive person or you are an empath. And this is because you feel things really deeply. So if you are saying no, you feel someone's response to that, you feel someone's disappointment, you feel the tension, and you can also be really empathetic so you understand what someone's going through, and it can be easy to disregard your own experience in order to make sure other people are okay. And I think part of this too is often that it can get really confusing of what's yours, what someone else's in the moment. If someone's having a big emotional reaction, it can actually be hard to connect to your own because your body gets overtaken by their emotional experience. And sometimes it's not really clear what you want or need until you have a little alone time and space to process that. I want to talk a little bit about why it can feel unsafe to say no and why it makes a lot of sense that your body responds with anxiety or guilt. You might overthink, you might replay it in your mind if you have to say no or set a boundary. And this makes a lot of sense, especially when you have been in relationships, especially your parents or caregivers or people close to you, that your no was met with either emotional withdrawal, someone pulls away from you, or it was met with anger or punishment. So you probably learned at some point in either your family, this could be at a workplace, it could be in your relationships, that it actually just wasn't safe to say no. And especially if it's your parents or if this is at work, your survival is at stake. And so your body responds by going into an activated state, the fight or flight, the anxiety. And then when you're overthinking, your mind, there's a part of you that's jumping in, it's trying to keep you safe and protect you from whatever experiences you've had when you said no or you tried to set a boundary in the past. And so this doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, that you're doing something wrong, because sometimes this response is actually very adaptive and it's something that you may still need at points if there's power dynamics and someone is in a position to really impact your life. You might still have to navigate, say yes, even if you don't want to. But there's times when that response, your body is responding to things that have happened in the past that isn't really matching what is happening in the present. So we often tend to generalize. Our body goes into this response because we want to make sure we protect ourselves as much as possible. And part of it is learning to slow down and be able to differentiate what relationships are safe and what are not. And sometimes that we learn that in the process of saying no or speaking up for your experience or saying what you need. But sometimes there might be a relationship that has the potential to be really safe, but you might be too afraid to speak up for yourself, to advocate, to set boundaries. So it's really important that we learn to listen to the body, but understand that anxiety, the body's responses are not 100% true of what is happening in this moment with this person in this situation. Sometimes they are, but sometimes it is not. I was just really talking about the body and really where my framework for understanding how to set boundaries as a highly sensitive person is we first have to really connect with the body, connect with the information in the body, because oftentimes when you've struggled to set boundaries, you might go to, I have to set boundaries about everything. It becomes a should. You're supposed to do it this way. You learn it from someone on the internet. I know the irony of me saying that. Or you learn it from another person, a friend is telling you what you should do, or anyone in your life is giving you this advice about what boundaries are supposed to be or what they should look like. It actually still is overriding your experience of what you need, of what is coming up for you, of where your actual boundaries are. And so it's really important. This is the first step, I believe, and this is why we're starting here at this video one of the series, is to start to connect to the body. And there has to be a level of safety created in the body to be able to really figure out what signals are coming in, because oftentimes the body is sending you signals. It could be an emotion or a tension, or there's like a bracing or a pushing down that happens in your body when you really want to say no, or when there's something that crosses your boundaries but you're not sure. And we can often override our boundaries with our thoughts. They didn't mean it. It's fine. I can do that. I'm fine. But the reality is the body doesn't lie. And the longer you don't listen to it, the easier it is to get burnt out, to build resentment, to feel overwhelmed and exhausted. And so the practice I'll teach you at the end today is just a simple way to reconnect to the body. And this is going to be the first thing we're doing in this series, is really just learning to tune in. And like I was saying before, the body isn't the end all be all of wisdom, but there are really important indicators that it can give us to know where your boundaries actually are. Because if you are just trying to set a boundary from, I think this is where my boundary should be, or this is what someone else said my boundary should be, or I just say these words and I've learned boundaries, the likelihood is if it doesn't actually align with where your real boundary is, it is going to be impossible to maintain that boundary, to hold it. So we will deepen in this series of really refining that, but I'm going to teach you just a short practice as a way to start tuning into the body. All right, if you want to join me for this one, we're going to just do a body scan together. And this can be something that you do as you're lying down. You could be seated, you could be standing, just getting in a place where you can feel somewhat relaxed and loose. And then the invitation here is you can close your eyes. You could just let your gaze go towards your nose, just finding a soft gaze. And then we're going to start by just feeling the points of contact with your body, whatever you're in contact with, the ground, the chair, the bed. And just take a couple of deep breaths into your belly, noticing where your body moves with your breath. And we're gonna bring your awareness to your toes. So just starting by dropping your attention to your toes and noticing sensation there. That could be either something that's really obvious, like a tension or a pain, or it could be more subtle, like a tingling, a vibration, a sense of expansion or contraction, or maybe there's a numbness and you don't feel anything at all. There is no right sensation to have. We're just getting curious. And then we're going to move this awareness like we're kind of moving a laser up through the body to the feet. Noticing sensations through the feet, ankles. the calves and shins, the knees and thighs, the hips and pelvis, the lower belly, the middle of the torso, the rib cage, sides of the waist, lower back, mid back, upper back. And then getting curious with sensations in the shoulders, the upper arm, the elbows, the forearms, wrists, all of the fingers. And then moving up, sensations in the neck, the face, the back of the head, top of the head. And then just take a minute to scan through the body. Again, just noticing sensation. And in particular, being aware of places that feel tight, contracted, and maybe places that feel open and expansive. And then as you're ready, just bringing your awareness back to the points of contact, deepening your breath and opening up through your eyes. All right, I hope you will join me in my next video of this series. We are going to be going a little deeper into understanding the signals of the body, what the body might be telling you, so you can better understand what your needs are, where your limits are, where your boundaries are. And in particular, we're going to dive a little deeper into the role anger has in our body's wisdom of boundaries. So I hope you will tune into that. And I'm going to link some free resources I have down below. I have a free burnout quiz. So if you have just been feeling really exhausted, the kind that sleep doesn't fix, you can take that to see what type of burnout you might be experiencing. As well as I have a free Find Your Hidden Energy Drains audit to just help you see where your energy might be leaking, and then taking a couple small shifts, small steps to start to reclaim it. Thank you for being here and tuning into my channel, the place where you can slow down and tune in.